So I need to mute all of us. that helps. Ah,
We have to get someone to. Oh, are we
Wow.
live?
yeah, we're live.
We
We're
are
live.
live.
No.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to Going Critical. This is Hellions of Carnocht, Theater of the Mind campaign. It takes place at the Lyceum, a magical university located in the city of. You will notice that I am doing the intro. Our lovely DM is just taking care of a couple things. So, yeah,
Yeah,
welcome.
Cats, man.
Pardon?
Cats, man.
Yep.
Cats, man. They got shit that needs doing. Yeah, so to start off, I want to let's do introductions. That'll be good. So, everyone introduce yourself. And today's fun fact of the day is what's our modern AU? What are our kids doing if they're not in a fantasy world?
Oh,
Or
I think we should clarify, is the world still fantasy?
oh, well, I mean,
Like,
the
can you
world. I was just thinking. I was like, the world still has to be fantasy because we
like
are
still magic,
fantasy
right?
people. Yes,
What?
still magic,
Okay.
but like
So
a
just
What?
modern
like
And
magic
wouldn't we just be
world.
doing the same thing?
I know. I know.
No, I imagined it was like,
No.
what if I popped Yuli into this world, into meat
Okay.
space?
Okay. So
Hmm.
so no fantasy.
So is
We're just
there
normal human people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we tieflings in the cute modern fashion like drawings, or is it just pure humans? Because
God,
it's very different.
in my heart we are, but I do think we are humans.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I should start, I think,
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
left. My name's Emily. I play Xanth, the changeling warlock, sorcerer, bad boy, but not in like a sexy way, in like annoying teenager way. Um, yeah, you can find me at Emily Pearson Art. It's underneath the Xanth. Um, my fun fact with our modern AU, trying to remember the way to say this.
Yeah.
Um, Xanth and Monty are traveling across like the US together, I think. Was it? Or just
Yeah.
yeah. In an RV. Probably fighting a lot. Just seeing the country, not not eating a lot of like expensive food.
So I am next. Hello, I'm Ned. I play Monty, who is our um shithead rogue slash fighter. Um, and yeah, he's a half elf. He's a dumb lad. I love him. And yeah, and going off of Emily's, yeah, they're living that RV life, or probably more likely they're living that like van life. Monty probably, well, Monty stole all of his tuition money, um, and used that to pay for the van. Um, and they definitely are driving across country in a much too small van for two teenage boys and
Pretty
probably
energy.
several pets because
Oh
they've got
god.
cheese and they've got cheese and they've got mittens and Monty has Baz the crow and they're definitely recording this on TikTok.
Yeah,
Oh
it's a
God.
terrible thing to do in real life, like taking
Yeah.
your pets in an RV across the country, but
Oh
This
my
whole thing
God.
is on TikTok, and they've probably gone mildly viral at least once for fighting with each other.
yes.
And um, yeah,
I
and
also
there's at least one TikTok sound.
I just I love that Monty should be on the run for fraud and is and is filming TikToks as he goes across the country.
Yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense in my head.
Honestly, it makes a lot of sense.
And like you know that but and as I said in the chat, said to the group earlier, you know they're just gonna like disappear one day, and it's gonna like spark like a like true crime. What happened to these dumbass TikTokers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No one will ever know.
Yeah, they died, definitely.
They went to Canada.
We were talking about earlier how they will decide to probably go like in the wilderness or some shit and camp for a couple weeks, and then they will just not be prepared.
Oh no. Well, good. Yeah, a rich universe
Good.
that you guys have made.
Yeah, we've got this is a great foundation for,
It
the
is.
the AU one shot we're all gonna do.
I was gonna say, like, how much are we gonna end up using this material?
I mean,
The likelihood that this will happen in game, just not with TikTok and not with an RV, is probably very high.
honestly,
Yeah,
yeah.
Ned
And
and I
everyone's
both
gonna go
write.
along.
Ned and I both write and draw comic books, so we'll find a way.
Oh my god. So hello, I'm Nick. At Nick Terhorst and at Nick Tattoos. Pretty much that pretty much covers it. I'm playing Tink, the High Elf Artificer. He's a good boy who's never done anything wrong. And I think Tink's modern AU is like probably like a robotics student, like still very much in the STEM world. And I feel like he'd either be like the perpetual student slash like tenured teacher who everyone's like, what does he do here? Or he would just like, I've started to feel like, what if he's just like Simone Gertz? Like, that's how I feel. He just goes on YouTube
amazing,
and
yes.
makes like weird inventions, and it's just like, this is useful for me and me specifically and me only. Don't make it, and I'm not gonna sell it. But this is what I do.
Absolutely. And he lives on a houseboat while doing it.
Yeah, he's just like, who knows where this man is located or what he's
I'm
doing.
just imagining the house in the beginning of like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang where it's just like automated
Yeah.
breakfast and it's like so much extra bullshit.
Yes.
It's like it goes like it's the Ruth Goldberg machine, like absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's got the little awesome Gromit Rube Goldberg she'd wake up every morning.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
So good.
my boy.
Love it.
That is just modern day artificer.
Exactly. That's what I kept thinking about it. I was like, it's just Simone Gertz. Like that's it. That's who he would be.
Just every once in a while Boston Dynamics is like, hey, do you want to help?
Yeah, and he's like, I don't
Like,
know.
absolutely not.
That sounds like work.
Is it me now?
It is you now.
Yes.
Hi everybody, I'm Dodger. I'm at Dex bonus on pretty much everything, and I'm playing Yuli, who is a halfling anxiety wizard. And if I were to pop Yuli out into meat space, she would be a creative writing student who goes to lots of different workshops and things, trying desperately to like make it and get somebody to buy her novel. But on the underside of everything, like she struggles a bit with the original work. But goddamn, is she popular on Archive of Our Own? Like goddamn, she does gangbusters on there, and she's just looking at the one that has the most hits and kudos, and is like, maybe I'll just change the names, and maybe I'll just turn that into maybe that's my way to break into the industry. And that's the big thing that she's going through at this exact moment in another world.
Oh my god.
It was great.
I love her so much. Oh, I guess that means it's me.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
I am Danny. I am playing Yenna, who is a problem. She is a gnome-shaped tiefling who is a graviturgy wizard who's yeah, she's just a problem. She doesn't have any other qualities besides make a mess.
Our problem.
Yeah.
She's our
Yeah,
problem,
she is.
exactly.
She really is, though. And then what she would be. See, here's the problem. Has her life together, Yenna, is like applying to NASA or JBL or some shit like that, and is like applied quantum physics or some like insane stuff. Crazy Yenna, who like had a bad time in college because it's not structured right, is like probably just like spouting nonsense to anybody who will listen, and just is I don't know what you call it. I guess it's like a neat, to
Yep.
use a Japanese term. She's just sort of like going through life and just not having a good time, like burned out child prodigy.
Oh.
One or the other. There's no in between.
Well, maybe it's like both. Maybe like once you meet us, you turn into like the burnt out, like we just ruin your life.
Oh yeah,
Probably.
that's possible.
Oh.
She's that trust fund kid that just like didn't do anything with her life.
Amazing.
Monty's the
Um,
trust fund kid who went on a crime spree.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
Fair.
We've got a lot of trust fund kids in here. Let's be real.
Oh, woo.
And then got really popular on Van Talk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then disappeared.
Yes, our lovely DM.
Hello.
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 Yay!
It's a very
Last thoughts.
sleepy hello. It's a very tired hello. But I am here and I'm marginally alive, which means we can do stuff.
Yeah. Would you like to
Although it
introduce yourself?
sounds like, yeah, I can introduce myself.
Yeah.
Though it sounds like you guys have gone off and created a whole world without me that you'd like to play in.
We've been
So-
discussing the the modern AU one shot.
Yeah.
Input please.
I don't know why these people would all need to do anything together, but you know, that's not my job.
No.
My job is to write fanfic. Get big on
Exactly.
AO3.
I will tell you now that the job is that Belial brings them all together with his true crime podcast
Oh my god.
to try and
Oh.
find
Yes.
out what happened to Monty and Xanth.
Oh my
Oh
Oh my
god.
god.
Yep.
But yeah,
Let's
hi,
print it.
I'm Jess Taylor. I'm the DM. I do things. Like creating worlds, although go off, I guess. Yeah, I'm not good at the intros today, which is why we got Nick to do it, but hi.
We haven't done announcements yet. If you would like to do your
Oh.
announcement.
Well, does anybody else have announcements?
No.
I'm good.
I don't think so.
I'm hot. That's my announcement.
True.
The perpetual,
Fair.
the perennial.
Yeah.
I just like to
should just
remind
have-
people of that every now and then.
Yeah, that's fair.
We should just have a little sign that says Ned's hot and just
Mhm.
like keep it above Monty's character.
Mhm.
I've got a couple of announcements, which makes me feel a little bit self-centered. But firstly, my book Galaxy: The Prettiest Star is up for pre-order. It is out on May the 17th. You can get it anywhere that sells graphic novels, specifically through Penguin Books. It's available, but you can also find it on Amazon if you wish or need to, and it is available digitally. Galaxy is a galactic princess hidden away on Earth as a teenage boy. And it's an incredible high school sci-fi adventure that is fantastically gay. I would say if you like any of those things, please go pre-order it. The more people who pre-order it, the more of a chance that we get to write a second and way more interesting book. My second announcement is that the show that I did background character and prop design on, T and Mo, is airing on English Mother's Day, which I believe is the 27th of March.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it'll be on CBeebies all of Mother's Day with the
CBeebies.
first 5 episodes. It's a cute show, so if any of you guys have kids and you want to like leave them in front of the TV for half an hour or so, T and Mo is a pretty good show to do it with.
You said you did
But-
backgrounds and what else?
I did backgrounds, character design, and prop design.
Oh,
So
wow. So just every
Yeah.
concept art.
A little bit of everything, yeah, along with the rest of the production team. It was pretty cool.
watched a lot of that show and it's very cute. So pretty
Oh,
It's
sweet.
really
Aw, yay.
cute. I really enjoyed working on it, and
Yeah,
season
it's
2 is
great.
gonna be grand. I know what's coming. It's gonna be really good. Look out for the episode that I think is called Off. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be
oh.
good. But those are my announcements. Have we done the recap of last week yet?
We have
I don't think
not.
so.
Would you like me to do it, or would you like to do
You can do it. I'll let you.
it? Well, now that I have permission. Um, all right. Last time on Hellions of Carnocht, after being launched back in time to the first day of school, the Hellions have found themselves with a distinct feeling of deja vu. Unable to remember specific events in their entirety, the group had split up. Hank, Yuli, and Yenna found themselves running through a wall of wild magic fire to get to Balthazar's office and found Monty and Xanth on the other side of the portal door. The group followed a path of blood along a familiar rocky shoreline to a small cabin. They finally located Balthazar, who seemed surprised that they knew that they started. It's as good as I could make of the mess of the last session.
Pretty good. Also, we should probably note that the trail of blood was not metaphorical.
No, it was very
Literal.
literal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was very literal.
Yeah.
So
We're
before
good.
we dive into the action, I will give the disclaimer that this is a mature stream. We do handle violence, adult themes, some drug use, and definitely a few filthy jokes and some swear words, so watch at your own discretion. And we, as players and as streamers, would like everybody at home to engage in safe watching, in that if something comes up in stream that you are not comfortable with or that you do not particularly like, please do not feel as though you have to sit through it just for the sake of the show. Take a break, come back to us later if you feel like you want to, or, just do whatever is best and safe for you. And the same goes for our players. And if you want support or if you want to just talk about things while watching the show, our Discord is open and available. With that, let's dive into another wonderful episode of Hellions of Carnocht. We left off last week with all of you gathered around a very rickety table in an incredibly rickety house, wherein Balthazar Klein, the tutor for the artificers at the Lyceum of Carnocht, had been sat amongst you all, looking incredibly beaten up, as he downed healing potions like they were going out of fashion. The surroundings are shabby, they're worn down, they're beaten. This small cabin by the sea has obviously seen a lot of wear and tear over the years from salt spray and sea foam. But the man at the table looks incredibly worn. And as he sits forward, with his elbows propped on the table and his head held in his hands, he just says, I suppose there's answers that you need.
Yeah,
Yeah, no shit.
Oh,
Did you
starting
practice
off
that?
good.
No.
No.
Oh, man.
He gives you quite a derisive look and just rubs at his temples and says, I realize that the happenings of the last 24 hours or so must be incredibly confusing for all of you.
Yeah, I died. That's all I know.
No, you didn't. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, well, we will. I want to know what the fuck's going on.
I can at least answer some of what's going on.
Can you just
How
tell
much
us?
do you know about time travel magic?
Hey, how much do I know about time travel magic?
Yeah, how much do we know about time travel magic?
I know absolutely nothing about time travel magic.
I will pitch. Let me make a pitch because we have had suspicions that the crystals were involved with time travel magic for a while. Tink believes he went back in time for a not insignificant time. I think he would have tried to at least have a cursory look into it. So maybe a surface level understanding that it could happen.
DM, can I do a history check to see if I remember the notebook?
You can do a history check to see if you remember the notebook. I will also say that you have it on you because you had it on you when you went into Babel.
Ah, thank you. Can I look at my pockets? Because my history check was not very good. It was a 10.
Well, then you don't really know to look in your pockets, do you?
Fuck.
The one amongst you who knows the most about any sort of time travel magic or any sort of manipulation of that level would probably most likely be Yenna. You can
Yeah.
all roll me an Arcana check, though. Yenna, you can do so with advantage.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was gonna ask because she has some experience with this.
Chronoturgy.
Chronology.
My area.
You said it was history or
Arcana.
Arcana.
Okay. Well, my Arcana is much better, okay? So
So
it's
16.
22 from Xanth.
21 from
30,
Monty.
dirty 20.
21, 16.
How did you get a
30,
21?
Because I rolled a 19 and I have a +2 and I have a +5 to history and I rolled a 5.
Wait.
I was seeing if I remembered the notebook. That was my history check.
Oh, I was like, you rolled history and Arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was why you got confused.
Yep. I got it.
Story of my life.
Okay. So, unfortunately, Yuli, you're kind of lost here. Chronoturgy really isn't part of your expertise. However, the rest of you have kind of heard of it.
That tracks.
And by kind of heard of it, I mean in very vague terms of it might be possible, especially given some of the stuff that you think you may have witnessed last year. And hey, you're living through having gone backwards in time right now, or at least your perception has. Yenna, you can put a little bit more together from your role, just knowing your basis of chronoturgy and the standpoint that yes, it is possible. There are spells that already do this,
Mm-hmm.
but manipulation on this level would be something that you've never heard of before.
Right. It'd be very like astronomical.
Exactly.
I mean, I know it's theoretically possible because you can like transmute time with like, giving my people haste and things like that. Like I can do small things, but like it seems like this is everything, which is what is it, like a god level thing to do?
It does seem extreme, I'll give you that. But if I told you that it's not necessarily that everything has been reset, it might help you understand this a little more. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a stone. It's small, smooth, round, the color of amber, as he sets it on the table. Tink, this is a stone that you're familiar with. You've seen it around Balthazar many a time. There is a small dragonfly inside the stone. It's similar in shape and form to the stone that sits in your pocket right now.
Yeah. And I think he will subconsciously like take out his little stone in response. And also place it on the table. Like he knows what's going on.
Monty sticks his hand in his pocket instinctively as well. And do I find either of the stones that I had with me?
You are so hoping that I let you like get the notebook as well. No, you
No,
just
I'm
find the
honestly
one
just
stone.
asking if I get the stones. Like that's the important thing, because
You
like-
you find your stone.
what about the river stone? Because I had that in my pocket too.
It's not in that pocket.
Okay.
It's not in that pocket.
I take out my stone. And I also put it on the table.
Would any of the rest of you like to check your pockets?
Yeah. I think at this point.
Yuli, Vienna?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sure.
If people start
Xanth?
pulling weird shit out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Xanth, your fingers brush against the stone that you've been carrying for a while.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of warm to the touch.
Okay.
Sit it down on the tabletop.
Do I have any memories of, like, we found out that we weren't supposed to touch these, right? Do I have any memories of that, or is that just gone?
That would be kind of fuzzy to you right now.
Okay, just checking.
I mean, I won't make you roll for the presence of the stones, but the details around them would be a little bit fuzzy.
Okay.
Yenna, Yuli, you both find similar shaped and sized stones in your own pockets.
Oh. Yenna's gonna inspect it. Does she actually recognize this? Is this something she would know she would have?
That's what I was gonna ask.
I would like you both to roll history checks.
Alright.
You guys are chosen. It
24.
means
13.
All you
Wait.
had to do was roll above a 10. Yes, you are familiar with them. In fact, you have vague memories of them being left on your pillows at the beginning of last year, as though they were some sort of hotel mint.
Oh.
And we were just like compelled to carry them around with us all the time?
Essentially, yes. You remember picking them up, and then the next thing you know, they were always in your pocket.
They have a feeling.
yeah,
It's
they
They
not
do.
concerning at all.
They do indeed. Yuli, yours is like this bright orangey yellow color and is made from topaz.
Okay.
Yenna, yours is like made of this really like dark red shot through with black streaks,
Oh.
and it is a type of jasper.
Okay.
And Balthazar watches as you all take out the stones from your pockets, and he's idly spinning his own stone as he watches you all do so. As far as I know, only people who possess these stones so far have been able to see what's been going on. And I use that term loosely because I'm still compiling the evidence for exactly what is happening.
This
But
has
what I do
happened.
know, this has happened many, many times.
Great.
How many times as many?
Wait, like to us or
This is the first time that anyone has come through aside from myself and a friend of mine.
Is it?
Abraxas.
No.
Are we calling him your friend right now?
Yeah,
I
because
said a friend of mine, not Abraxas.
Okay,
So
but like
who is
Abraxas
this friend
also
of
knows
yours
what's going on.
Just to keep
who's
us on
his
track,
friend?
I would say let's start from the beginning.
Please.
Great.
It's as he says, let's start from the beginning, that you hear a door open downstairs and the sounds of someone bustling about in the kitchen. Pots and pans, mortar.
Who's here?
Well, I wasn't quite aware that you'd be doing a daring rescue.
So you sent for
I
someone else?
I sent for one of the only people in this timeline that I can trust. As I said, this has happened upwards of 20 times, as far as I can recall so far. And during that time, the only other person that I've been able to talk to about any of this is a healer from town named Zinnia.
Does Zinnia strike a memory for me?
Yeah, or
Yes.
me.
The moment that you hear the name Zinnia, it brings to mind a familiar woman, very kindly, old-aged. And Monty, you get the sense of home.
And I know Zinnia. I know that name. Fuck.
Can I roll for Zinnia? So I've met her,
Yeah,
but
no, Xanth, you would also remember Zinnia.
okay.
Anyone
Cool.
who has had contact with Zinnia would remember Zinnia
Oh,
at this point.
interesting.
Okay. Tiny bit. I remember the name. I don't even know if I've.
You talked to her before.
You one time.
You were really mad at me. I remember.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did go talk to her today.
Yeah.
I think I brought you with me to talk to her.
Well, don't be surprised that she's downstairs right now.
Oh, okay.
What?
He stands up and grabs his stone and makes a motion towards the door. It's probably best if you hear it from us both. But all you need to know is that you're stuck in the same loop we are. I wouldn't have wished this on anyone, and I'm sorry that you've been dragged into it.
Monty takes his stone and follows.
I would like all of you to roll me a history check.
Okay.
History or insight.
Well, that's a
Oh,
I roll both if I did
insight's
really
much
bad in
better.
history.
No, you can only do one or the other.
Okay.
Oh man, dirty 20.
I
18.
got 5.
26. History.
That tracks.
Yep.
Say that tracks.
Yep, no, that definitely tracks.
Okay.
Tink, you remember in the time before, the year that was, this time loop that you've been stuck in, that you have asked this man for answers so many times, and that even just saying that the stones are part of what's happening is more than he was ever able to tell you before.
Okay, so I remember that we were doing, like, we were running tests on the stones stuff. Like, he had
Yes.
not had any idea what had happened.
Yes. Yenna, you also know that Balthazar was running experiments on the stones. You would have seen them
Hmm.
to a certain extent, with the amount that you would have been there talking to him and positing your own theories on your own magical work.
Okay.
That it's very strange that he now suddenly has so much knowledge
did you figure it out and then give us the stones?
You're saying that directly to Balthazar?
Yeah, she's trying to like work out like how did I get a stone, and like if he's done this a lot, did he like finally crack it? Sort of trying to figure out like what is all of this is culminating to.
I think the answer to that is difficult to explain, and it would probably help to just show you. He motions to the door that he was about to go through.
Right, yeah. Tink is just making notes. As he like
Yeah,
picks
I was
up his stone.
I
like,
was
walks
gonna
with it.
say Yuli's definitely just, especially if she was already confused the second people were like, right, time magic, of course. She would be like, what? Like writing everything down.
I like that Tink and Yuli now are just gonna be like behind the group, like furiously, like
Just note-taking buddy. We can compare notes before bed every night.
Oh my
Good.
god.
Nerds.
Yeah. Have you met us?
Mega nerds.
Walking through the house, you see that someone has gone through and turned on all of the gas lamps, so that the space is now filled with a warm light. The thunder and the rain are still absolutely tearing the world apart outside. But in here, it feels safe, other than the slight creaking of the wood. And in the kitchen, Zinnia has already put on a pot of tea, laid out several potions, and bandages as they may be needed.
Can I go give
Alright.
Zinnia a hug?
Oh,
You just want to instantly go and give Zinnia a hug?
Mm-hmm.
You can go give Zinnia a hug.
That's
Thank
very
you.
cute.
She does, however, slightly screech and jump a mile as you do so.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She spins and takes a moment to just step back, and then she kind of pushes you back with her hands on your cheek. Monty, dear, maybe don't creep up on an old woman who only has a few years left.
I'm so sorry.
There's a lad.
I
And she taps your cheek just a little bit and motions towards the table where there is a basket of fresh buns.
I take one of the buns.
Tink is already
Settle
eating.
yourself. Yeah, Zinnia's kind of flustering about, and she puts down a pot of tea and several cups and goes, "Settle yourself down. There's a lot to be talked about, a lot to be told." And she kind of ruffles Monty's hair just a little bit and goes, "We need to get you a haircut."
We do. It's rather long.
Sit down, help yourselves. And you turn off the weather outside, and you see her giving a rather scowling look towards Balthazar, who reluctantly seats himself at the table, grabbing one of the health potions that's been laid out, and again, drinking them like they're going out of fashion. You guys gave him how many?
If he took them all, 4.
Okay, he would have taken them all, so 4. He takes another 4 from Zinnia's collection.
Tink makes more notes.
I am also going to grab a health potion.
You better grab them before this man has them all.
I
I'm
have
just
grabbed
saying.
at least one. I've grabbed at least one health potion. I'm going to try to get 2. Is this a sleight of hand?
Yeah, give me a sleight of hand roll.
13 plus 9, that's a 22.
22?
Yep.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna do a perception roll for Balthazar.
I'll let you have one.
He'll let you have one. He rolled a 7. And
Good.
even with his plus, it's not enough to get past a 22.
Excellent. So I'm gonna I will take that health potion because I need some
Okay, you
healing.
have a superior potion of restoration.
Cool. What's that?
Superior.
A superior, yeah.
How many do I roll?
I'm just looking it up. You regain 64 plus 6 hit points for a superior healing potion.
64 plus 6. Cool.
If you have any status effects that are not curses, it will also render those null and void.
You said it was how many? Plus 6?
6d4 plus
Cool.
6. Not as the
As the caption said.
as the captions keep saying 64 plus 6.
That would just be 70. That's just.
Yay! I'm almost back. I'm like practically at full health.
But you do roll me a perception check. Anybody who would care to, as Balthazar knocks back superior potions.
No, always try.
I rolled a 4.
Oh, I got a 19.
22.
17. Not bad.
Yole?
No, I don't think that.
she's just writing.
I don't think she's paying attention to that. Yeah.
Well, Xanth, Tink, Yenna, you realize that as Zinnia chastises with turn that weather off outside, and as Balthazar knocks back several of the potions, the sound of the rain and the thunder starts to fade.
Can I make, can I
Excuse
make an
me.
insight check?
Tink just
Was
gives
that
him a
kind-
look like, what the fuck?
Anybody who would like to can make an insight check.
I didn't pay attention because I'm just drinking my potion and eating my bun.
17.
They are very good buns. They're almost like this sweet bread wrapped around a kind of jam fruit filling.
Ooh.
Like it's like a brioche bread.
I thought you were describing my insight check at first. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yes, that is your
Delicious.
insight check.
Amazing.
What exactly are you guys trying to perceive?
I just want to study his face and see if he kind of lets anything loose, if that makes any sense, if he gives anything away.
Yenna is
What exactly are
probably-
you looking for? Just suspicious things?
If this bitch is just being weird again, like I don't know, like if it's just like I don't know how to put it right. Like if there's something he's not telling us that he doesn't plan on telling us in this.
Yenna, are you looking for the same sort of thing?
Yenna is probably like if Tink is like taking notes and like trying to figure something out about him based on the potions. Yenna is also probably doing like a little bit of mental math and going like, that's quite a lot of healing. Like what?
Yeah. Tink's just like this, and then like previous the taste. Can I say the taste of the air outside? Was that familiar?
You should have checked when you were outside.
But you know what I, because the absence of it. It's not like it's not in the house. These windows barely have glass in them.
I love that the vagueness of your guys' insight check shows your desperation to know shit.
First of all, you said make an insight check.
I
Yeah. Yenna was still gonna be making a face at him, but not necessarily like
Yeah.
doing any rolls for it.
I do believe it was Emily. It was
Yeah,
Zach
I'm
who asked
good.
first for insight checks.
Credit
Okay,
for the
okay.
work that it is due.
No, Tink is just like kind of looking up from his notes as he realizes that like that I do think that probably was familiar.
Tink, that definitely was familiar. You have vague recollections of Balthazar's power.
Yeah.
and that you know both you Tink and Yenna, you know that magic has a distinct signature for each caster, and that sometimes leaves itself as, let's say, a smell on the air or a taste or a certain kind of feeling, depending on the strength of the person who's casting. The stronger the caster, the more distinct the imprint.
Yeah. So to
And
reiterate. Go. No, you go first.
to reiterate, yes, there was something in the air that was familiar to Balthazar's power that you have felt several times before. Yenna, the mental maths that you are doing, yes, there is a lot of maths going towards this man's healing potions right now. Xanth, just trying to see if he's being sus.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't trust this guy. I don't remember trusting this guy. Like, I don't I just don't like him.
I don't know, you see his eyebrow wiggle a bit.
Okay.
But that could honestly just be the fact that the healing potions don't necessarily taste great.
I'm gonna
Nah,
narrow my eyes at
something's
him.
fucked up here.
Yeah. I'm gonna give him a dirty look.
You do all also notice that there is a boy about your age in the room with you as well, who is unpacking things from a box that Zinnia has brought with her. And that the two of them do share a familial resemblance.
Garrett.
You okay over there?
Yeah,
Tink-
Ned, we just heard noises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was me just saying Garrett.
Oh.
Oh.
It cut off the part of that was actually a name or a word.
A name, yeah, and it just came through as So you're all sitting at the table. You are all plied with sweet buns. You are all plied with tea. There are healing potions that are rapidly just turning into empty bottles, one of which Monty rescued.
And promptly drank himself.
You do notice Balthazar's immediate reluctance to start speaking again.
Come on.
Come on, spit it out, man.
Like
You want
we're
us to,
in this
like-
now. We might as well know what's going on.
Do you want someone to like fucking rub your shoulders when you start talking? Like, I don't. Come on.
He sighs, just kind of playing with one of the empty bottles. When he puts his finger in the neck of it and then pulls it out real quick, it makes a small popping noise. And he's just doing that repeatedly. And it looks as though this man is trying desperately to find the words to put together that will make this make sense, and is coming up incredibly short. And he just looks over at Zinnia with a kind of helpless expression, and she sighs and sits down at the table and goes, "How many times do you think you have gone backwards in time?"
I really
Oh.
hope just once.
One would be
From what he was
preferable.
saying, it sounded like. How many times did he said that we did like this has happened?
Several, many, multiple.
It was.
Oh,
Balthazar's memories are rather rocky on that point, Zinnia says, just kind of shuffling a bit in her seat, looking a little self-important. However, mine are rather sharp. So far, the loop has happened no less than 32 times.
30,
That's a
32
lot of
times.
times.
With
That
us in it? Or just in general?
I will say with some certainty that you hadn't been part of the cycle until the last time. This is your first time remembering precisely what's happened. And it's certainly the first time that you showed up after after the jump has begun.
What about Tink or people who aren't first years? This is the same for them?
There is no bearing on whether or not someone is a first year or a second year. I believe that you must put aside all such notions. The only indicator of whether or not someone remembers through time is whether or not they are in possession of one of the stones.
Wait, so the stone remembers across time, you said?
Indeed.
So it's been happening to the whole school for a while, but we only remember last year because of the
Not
stone.
just the whole school. The entirety of Carnocht. The entirety of the world, from what we can tell. Although I have been studying the phenomena, and from what I can gather, I would believe that it is only us that realize that it has happened. Until you yourselves have proven to be carrying the stones.
Oh, okay.
Why
Okay.
is this happening?
Yeah.
Wait, that's what you're studying. I'm sorry. I'm very very confused.
Um,
Balthazar kind of sighs from his side of the table and rests his head on a hand. There are a few theories as to why, and there are a few theories as to who. But every single time I try to prove it, I meet some sort of roadblock.
What do you mean a roadblock?
He looks back at Zinnia, and she clucks her tongue a couple of times and just pushes the plate of buns across the table closer towards Balthazar and then towards you, Monty.
I would take
It
another
would
bun.
appear it would appear that at least at some point during every cycle, Balthazar loses a portion of his memories.
Convenient?
Convenient or a bad actor? We haven't been able to decide which. I, of
um,
course, am not part of the school. I'm set aside from that. But what's happening does seem to be centered upon it.
I think at this point, Tink is rifling through his notes.
And can I pat down while Tink is doing that and see if I like the rest of my pockets?
Oh my
You are
god.
so desperate to find that notebook.
I am. It's fucking killing me.
Roll me a history check to see if you would even get the want to.
No, I got an 8.
You can roll another time tonight, and if
Okay.
you get above a 10, you can do it. Tink, what are you looking in your notebook for?
I think two things would have kind of made him do a double take, just to the effect of like seeing if the note is there. Of saying people who are in possession of these stones, because he encountered the stones, specifically the one he believes to be Balthazar 10 years ago. And would potentially remember that. Just
He does remember that.
yeah. So that's the note he goes looking for. But the second thing that would maybe occur to him is that he has notes of the rune that was on Balthazar's neck. He has notes of like the night that he knows Balthazar lost his memories.
I will say the first of those notes is the easiest to find, simply because it's the clearer in your memory.
Yeah.
And that the stone that you do describe there is indeed the amber stone that Balthazar now possesses. As for the other portion of notes,
Mhm.
I'd like you to roll a d20.
That's a 13.
Yes, you can find them.
Okay. I think Tank kind of like he flips to the one, goes like, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. And just absently kind of says, but how long has this been going on? If it's just this year. I saw that stone my first year here.
The actual loop itself starts at different points for different people. When exactly do you think your own loop started?
I mean, all I can remember is today, so I assume today I would try to find you sooner if it had been before now.
So today is the moment that your memory of reliving a portion of time is the clearest to you. This is when it starts for you.
Tank just nods.
For Zinnia, that point was what, 3 decades ago? And he looks over at Zinnia, who just nods slightly, pouring her own tea and taking a sip. About 35 years. Balthazar just sits back in his chair and looks at the ceiling and goes, and my own was probably more centuries than I would like to say.
I'm sorry, centuries? How old are you?
I do believe that's none of your business.
I believe
I would
everything is their fucking business now,
no,
my
yeah,
dude.
I would start to argue that a lot of this has become our business very quickly.
Largely due to the fact that we are now in this cycle along with you. So, I mean, a little transparency and openness and answers would be really nice.
He wrinkles his nose, rather like a child being made to hand over a favorite toy when they really don't want to.
Yeah, no.
872.
Oh my god.
Tank makes another note.
Why are you teaching classes? What are you doing? What?
Why? What are you?
He just looks helplessly at Zinnia, who just sighs and pushes a cup of tea towards you all and gets up from the table and is just like, I do believe that we can all agree that Balthazar is a half-elf.
I cast detect thoughts.
But I'm a half elf, and my lifespan is like 200 years maximum.
Yeah, no.
Zinnia's just kind of
Player's handbook.
flustering around the table, just like he's a perfectly average man.
Yeah, no, Tank's just like, yeah, okay, well, we know that that's not true. And he's like, fully like moving on. Like,
I would absolutely love to cast detect thoughts when
Please
this is
do.
being said.
Okay, cast detect thoughts. Is there anything
Okay.
that needs to be passed for that?
Okay,
What are the
he needs
specifics?
to make a wisdom save, which is probably really high for him.
Okay, what's it gotta beat?
16. I might get surface spots just for free
Ooh.
though.
Ooh, hang on. He just rolled
Oh,
really badly.
Oh no.
Eyebrow wiggle.
Let me just check his wisdom.
this is my favorite fucking
'Cause I
spell
don't
for
have his
shitty
sheet up
boys in
right now.
D&D.
Oh my. Such a problem for DMs.
Okay, what thoughts are you after?
Okay, I want to know.
Bear in mind, surface thoughts you can gather without tipping the person off to the fact that you've cast this spell.
I don't
If
give a
you go for
shit.
deeper thoughts,
Yeah.
they gonna know.
No, I don't give a shit. I would like to know as much as I can gather about why he's old, what he is, what what the fuck he's doing
Why
with
are you
his
so
life.
old, bro?
Why are you old?
I want to know if he's a fucking dragon or some shit. Like, I just want to know. Yeah.
The thoughts that you get, the surface thoughts are just, I'm a perfectly average man. 800 is not old. 800 is quite young. Those are the surface thoughts that you get. And it's
Mhm.
kind of repeated in like this flustered noise. The deeper thoughts that you get, they aren't even what languages do you know?
Well, I don't know Draconic.
I
And
know
a
Draconic
common.
though. God
Yeah,
damn
but
it.
you can't
You're
cast
not reading
detect
his
thoughts.
mind.
I can't cast anything.
I know Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Thieves' Cant.
That's it.
Yep.
You hear a constant stream of thought, but it is not in a language that you recognize.
Fuck. Hold on, I'm reading the spell really quick to see if I can have any more cheats.
Is it a concentration spell?
on.
Do you have
Rubs
comprehend
hands.
languages?
Come on.
I feel the need to just let you guys know precisely how badly he rolled on that. He
Yes,
rolled a
please.
2. He
Oh
rolled
my
a fucking
god.
Oh
2.
my god.
Bitch, I'm fucking
Boy.
coming for you. Like, okay, hold on. I'm looking for anything I have. Hold on.
Can I do a much simpler check?
While Xanth is checking that, yes. Anybody? This
Yeah.
okay? Yeah, let's go around the table and see what you all want to do. Tink, what are you doing?
So when Tink's like, yeah, he's not a half elf, I'm pretty sure. We can all agree. I think he's just gonna offhandedly be like, I'm pretty sure he's a fucking dragon. And like look at him. And I'd like to insight his reaction. Because this boy
Oh
has
my
been
God.
making fucking notes since
Yeah.
the day we met. And he is just like looking through them like, yeah, okay, that seems about right.
Oh my god.
Yenna, are you doing anything?
Yenna is going, like, when Tink goes off, like, I think he's a dragon, she's just gonna make a face and I was like, you just can't go around accusing people of being dragons.
Good.
And she's gonna, like, hop off her little stool and, like, go over to him and, like, take his hand in her tiny hand and just be like, I'm so sorry. Also, you're a fucking moron. I've been here the whole time studying fucking magic, exactly the kind of shit that you did, and you didn't say anything, you stupid fuck.
Yuli, what are you doing?
I think the only thing Yuli is capable of doing is watching the bedlam of everyone harassing this man.
And
I don't know enough about like even
Yeah.
before I didn't spend enough time with him to like be able to make any crazy accusations or find anything weird necessarily. So I think she's firmly planted in the observational seat.
So I don't think I think language is good it can be a barrier if I don't speak it, but I do if he's feeling a certain way or if he has any sort of like
Yeah,
emotions.
fucking panicked because you're accusing him of shit. And
I
then like
talk to
the
him in
moment
Draconic.
one
You don't
moment.
know this is going on. Well,
No,
you
I
think
don't.
dragon,
But if Tinks accused him of being a dragon, then I've
true,
heard
yeah.
that.
One moment, because
Yeah.
Xanth, the
Yeah.
moment before the spell is severed abruptly, you feel this ever building anger. Monty, what would you like to say?
Hey, what's up?
I will say that like
I need you all to make a constitution saving throw.
I will say that
All of
unless
us?
he has special abilities, I don't think he knows until the spell ends.
He knows.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Cool.
I need you to make a constitution saving throw.
That's 13.
Oh boy.
It's 16 for me.
Did we get a long rest? I don't remember.
No.
'cause
No.
No, not yet.
We have
No,
nothing.
oh no!
Oh, how can you? No, you did you re-roll?
This This was with my -1, so
it.
it wasn't a
Oh,
nat
no!
1.
Oh no! Oh god! This man is
Oh.
just panicking.
Rolled a 9.
Okay, cool. Um, you hear this almighty rumble of thunder just emanates from somewhere around you, and it kind of pushes the table away from Balthazar towards you all. And those of you who failed your constitution checks,
Yeah.
you take 8
Remember,
points of
it's
damage.
gonna be like, remember, we're all hurt.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've altered the spell because you're all hurt, but you take 8 points of thunder damage, and you are
Oh.
deafened
For how long?
for the next 10 seconds.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
And Yenna,
Uh-huh.
Monty, you are
Yep.
the only two who passed that constitution
Oh, fuck.
save.
Jesus.
Yenna is going to, like... Oh, man. He's sitting down. She's gonna, like... She's gonna reach his way. She's gonna, like, hug him and be like, stop it!
Yenna, you don't even really need to, because Zinnia comes over and just grabs his ear and starts telling him off. It's just such a constant stream of words. And Monty, you recognize the words that are being spoken as Draconic.
Okay, do I know what's
As
being said?
Balthazar is essentially being pulled off of his chair by his ear, as Zinnia is yelling, "You stupid idiot of a man! You know you should be able to control that sort of stuff. Go, get out, get out, get out! I'll answer all of their questions." And he just kind of shuffles out of the room.
this motherfucker is a dragon.
Yuli definitely, like, dropped to the ground and backed up all the way to the wall. It's
Oh.
just panicking.
Oh,
Poor baby.
Tinkle, get up and
Zinnia pushes one more sweet bun into Balthazar's hands, shoves him into the hall, shuts the door behind him, and goes, "I'm so sorry, dears. Come on, let's put this all back together." And she rights the table and starts righting the chairs.
I am trying. I'm helping her with that and trying to pick up the buns that remain. Put them back into the basket, dusting them
This
off.
this entire situation must be so difficult for you all to understand. And he doesn't make it easy on himself. And she passes out more tea from into the cups that weren't shattered on the floor.
Thank you. Would you like some help with anything?
No, just sit down. And I know I've got some more healing potions in here somewhere. And she puts a little bag of good berries on the table.
Oh.
Go on, eat up.
If Yuli doesn't come back to the table, Yenna will go to her.
Okay, yeah, Yuli
Yeah.
definitely is still just sitting there like, what the fuck?
Yenna's gonna try to make a joke and be like, well, you wanted a conspiracy theory. You found it.
yeah.
Really scary.
I wasn't ready for that. That was a lot. Do you want to come back to the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll get up and walk back over with her.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, Tink's
And
like
eat-
rubbing his
eat a
ears,
good
just
berry.
like has this look on his face, like, oh god, loud, like he's.
You see the other young man that was in the room takes over Balthazar's chair and sits on it backwards and just kind of looks at you all and goes, "Well, that certainly went well. I see that you 100% were trying to do something safely there."
Okay, but like you can't just sit there and fucking. I cannot deal with any more people fucking lying to me today. Okay, this has been a lot.
Did it ever occur to you that it's maybe a sensitive subject for somebody?
Okay.
I feel like it goes past that at this point.
Hold on.
I feel like I feel like I get it, whatever, but we're past it. This is no.
I can't sit
And
here.
Zinnia just sits down and rights her skirts and goes, "Look, there's nothing here that I can't answer that Balthazar can. So let's talk about this as sensibly as possible while he cools off," and she just waves a hand towards the door.
So will you tell us if he's a dragon, or is that his business and you're not going to let us know?
Ultimately, what somebody is quite often their business.
Doesn't seem like it anymore.
I know, I understand. And yet, the position could have been handled a little bit more delicately.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have a track record of handling things delicately. So,
Yeah,
how's that?
I have firsthand experience from his delicacy, and I do not want any part of that.
The answer as to whether or not Balthazar is a dragon is not now.
Fine. What's going on?
Yenna's
And that is what's going on is that at some point during every loop, something happens in which he becomes cursed and no longer is in possession of all of his memories. It's happened every time, although the speed at which it happens at varies.
He, when he was cursed last time, he wouldn't tell us about it either. So I don't really know what we're supposed to do in this circumstance, because if his curse is part of this whole big thing and he doesn't tell us what's going on, we can't do anything.
Sometimes part of a curse is being unable to talk of it.
There's
Yuli looks sad.
I was gonna say there's a moment where like Tink kind of like his eyes flash over to Yuli before he shows Zinnia the page in his notebook that he'd been looking for. He didn't remember the night that we all found it says the murder basement. Really, fuzzy there, but
I do believe that you mean the catacombs beneath the school.
that
Murder basement.
is probably, it sounds like a murder basement. He if that was the night that we met Abraxas.
I see. And you say that that's the night that he changed.
As far as I can tell, I wrote here, and he'll like flip back a few pages, that we found him with Abraxas after he left. And then here, and like on the next page, there's like a picture of the rune. Or at least as much as he could remember it, it's like kind of sketchy. And then here, and he flips to like a couple weeks later. I said that I mentioned it, and he didn't remember.
Are there any other instances of him not remembering things that you've written down?
He'll flip through his notebook. What should I investigation?
Yeah, roll investigation. Let's see how good you are at finding your old notes.
They are chaotic.
They are.
That's a 17.
A 17?
Yeah.
Okay. You do find mentions of him not recognizing the stones, even though you've shown him to them before.
Yes.
You also find mention of him not recognizing the doors, even though he's the one who showed you how to travel through them.
Yes.
The same sort of doors as the magical door that brought you to this beach.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he'll flip through and like read from those pages basically.
I see. That is rather troubling. And this is the sigil that was carved into him.
Yeah.
As much as I could remember. Yeah. I
She takes
guess.
out her own notebook and writes it down.
Notes are important.
And you see that there's actually like a tiny living vine with flowers on it around the pen that she uses.
Hank looks at the pen, very interested.
Monty does too because it's flower, and he likes flowers.
Now, I can understand that all of this must be rather alarming to you. Firstly, I will say that Balthazar's memories remain intact as to this point, though that
Should
may
someone
not remain so.
should someone be with him right now to make sure that I don't know he doesn't get dragged
Rudy.
off by Braxis or anything
You
like.
hear a knock on the door and a yell through it that just says, "I'm not quite that incompetent."
Are you eavesdropping?
Yeah,
I don't believe
get
you.
out of
Get your
here.
ass in here.
In or out? You can't just like stand by a door and listen.
I mean, I think that he can probably just hang out by himself, if that's his vibe right now, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No. It's just okay, whatever. Well, what
Do have a
do you
good
know?
berry, dear. Like Zinnia kind of pushes the pile of good berries towards Yuli.
She eats more. She doesn't need more, but she eats more anyway.
Um, roll me a Constitution save.
What do you mean?
Ooh,
Me?
No, Yuli. Yeah. Roll me a Constitution save.
A 5?
Stop it.
5.
Don't hurt her.
don't
You
hurt her.
feel like you can breathe a little bit easier, and you gain 2 temporary hit points.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
It's almost as though they have like a calming effect, a mild calming effect.
She rubs her rock, feels even more calm. Ah, we've done it.
Here to rub rocks.
Now you're good direction.
Actually,
Nice.
yeah, maybe he should come in here.
Why do you know any of why this is happening, or do you just know what's happening?
I'm afraid the details that we have so far are rather alarming.
Okay. Well, it's
I
all been
will
alarming.
put it out there first and foremost that just because you have become involved in the cycle doesn't mean that you need to be involved in solving it. The rocks have chosen you, the stones have spoken, but I will not hold children accountable.
Tink snorts in a way that is very like you could stop me from being a part of this.
So what?
Yenna is just
what
pouting
do
and being called
these?
a child.
What did these rocks do? Like,
As you hold them with you, they record all of the happenings around you. I'm sure that you've noticed that the initial few days after a cycle has begun, there is some confusion about the events that have happened therein.
Putting it.
The stones help to solidify your memories of the time before.
There was a time when we showed these stones to Balthazar. Wait, I don't
By the time we showed it to him, he'd forgotten what.
know. Saw these stones and then told us to try to avoid them as much as possible. Do I remember that?
Yes, you do. In
Okay.
fact, the more that you all sit here talking about it, the more solidified your memories of the time before get.
I'm gonna bring that up to Zinnia then, because it's a little confusing.
Okay.
Well, just are they good for us or are they not good for us?
I do believe that the stones themselves pose no danger to you. However, it may have been an ill-attempted project by Balthazar to keep you out of the cycles.
Cool.
That
Well,
all stands to whether or not that event happened before his memories were tampered with.
oh man, do I remember?
I have no idea.
Told
How-
us to stay away from them. That was pretty later on. I think that was after his memories were tampered with.
Yeah,
I'm
it
pretty
was.
sure. Yeah.
It was.
Why did the stones choose us?
They have some form of sentience we have been able to determine over the last several decades. And in that sentience, they have chosen no one else before. Balthazar and I are directly involved in the cycle that is happening. We have roles to play that cause certain events. You are the first people it has chosen outside of those events. I cannot even begin to wager why, apart from the fact that each of the stones seems to reflect some facet of your personalities.
Okay.
What does that mean?
This is
Yuli stares at hers.
Yeah, like it's a rock. It's not a.
mine changed.
When?
It's, I mean, it it was it was obsidian before. It's tiger eyes now. This is me being. Am I correct, Jess?
Or was it the opposite?
It was the opposite. Your stone
Opposite?
started as Tiger Eye,
Well,
and it turned into Obsidian.
it's
And it
Monty's
is now, yeah, it is
tiger eye
now
again.
Tiger's Eye again.
That's what
Yes.
Okay.
he's referring to. Like it was when he last had it. It was when I last had it. It was obsidian, and it's tiger's eye again. And
Certain life events can affect the stones. We've found that through Balthazar's. His own fractured last cycle. It could be that the stones simply found that a different one now reflected your personality far better. Tiger's Eye itself is known for courage.
certainly don't feel very brave. But Monty just sort of mumbles to himself.
Topaz for communication, Jasper for knowledge seeking. They all have their own facets.
Has Pink's changed back?
No, it has not.
Okay.
All right. He just
Cool.
looks at it. He doesn't want to say anything. He's not even really sure it ever was another color, to be honest. It's probably always just been, what is it, pink quartz? It's always probably been what it is. Probably.
How does
Sure,
the
probably.
praxis fit into all of this?
With much difficulty.
Okay,
He's
what
one
can
of the
you...
players that we cannot account for most of the time.
And
He was a player that we weren't even aware was around until you all seemed to coax him from hiding last cycle.
Well, it seems like he was aware of Balthazar and his involvement.
A troubling turn of events, to be sure.
I'm gonna use my last history check.
I want to say I do think you have inspiration.
You do have inspiration on that last history check.
Okay, that's a D8, right?
Yep.
That's a 15.
With a 15, you do remember being in possession of a strange diary and a rough-hewn pebble.
I go digging through my pockets for those.
And these were things that you had stolen from the dream realm in the time that never was.
So
We
poetic.
really need to figure out a name for this timeline.
um, have you seen these before? And Monty pulls out the diary and the rough-hewn riverstone and puts them on the table, but hands the diary uh to Zinnia.
And she reaches out and she takes it, flipping through a few pages. And she just sighs and snaps it shut. Would it be all right if I retained possession of this for a short while?
All right. Um, yes.
Sh-
What does it? Do you know what it is or whose it is?
She tucks it away in her pocket and reaches for the Riverstone as well.
I give her the stone too. I trust her implicitly.
I have theories that I would like to test before I say anything.
Okay. And
Now, there are some things about the cycle that I must impart upon you. Your cycle obviously starts from this day that has just gone by. But all of the timelines end with the destruction of Karnak.
Wait, so the day that everything reset, that everything just what stopped existing in that moment?
We are unsure as to how or why it comes to pass. But yes, Karnak ceases to be. The entire city just stops. It's
Oh, well,
destroyed.
but how do you know that if everybody resets? Like who's there to gather that information?
Because Balthazar and I are always there at the end. We see the start of that destruction. We feel ourselves die, and then we awake again at the beginning of our own cycles.
So do you think someone's trying to prevent this? And this is all they can do for now?
If I were a person of optimism, yes.
But you're not.
And realistically.
Realistically, I think that having a force that acts against Balthazar quite so aggressively as to wipe his memories during every cycle, to be constantly stopped in both of our researches, I would say that there are definitely foul actors
What if
beneath these
Balthazar?
plots.
What if Balthazar is the problem in this case?
I mean, they haven't had any help. They haven't had any help until now, right? Like it's just been the two of you, as far as you know, and now it's us. Oh God, which means we're also going to feel ourselves die at the end. That's fine. I don't need to think about that right now. But this isn't like a perfect system because we were able to bring our things back. I have notes and notes and notes about. I have notes about the year. I have notes about everything that happened this year.
So do
She
I.
like suddenly starts flipping through her book like rapidly.
Between the two of us, we probably know most of what happened last year, actually.
As a DM, I will say the comparison here for everybody gathered around the table is incredibly hilarious in that Yuli's notes are neat and immaculate and timelined and pristine. Tink's are chaos on paper.
They are
Tink
written.
is like me too, and opens the book and it's just chicken scratch.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It is chicken scratch. It is also canonically written alternating in every language that he knows.
Great.
Oh my god.
The words are encoded and shuffled. Like, they're it's made so that it would be extremely difficult for another person. So his are abject chaos that is completely undecipherable, except for the
I love
parts that
it.
he's like chosen to write in Elvish or Common.
Across the room, the door creaks open just a crack enough for a notebook to also fall on the floor.
Like slides it under the door.
Oh, come on, just come back in.
Zinnia, does does Karnak end the same night every time, or does it change?
I wish I could say that it were consistent. It's at this point that Balthazar does guiltily just kind of walk back into the room, and puts his own notebook on the table.
Sit your ass down and help us.
Stop making demands of me.
And how about this? If you would like our help, please start acting.
As far as we can tell, the night that which Karnak is destroyed changes depending on what we do throughout our own cycles.
Hey,
As you can imagine, there are events that are influenced over the course of however many centuries my cycle lasts. I try not to change it too much anymore,
So
but it seems to be that we always end up at the Lyceum. I've tried to avoid it. I've tried going to the other side of the world, and I always end up back at the Lyceum. Some things are just set in stone.
What forces you back each time?
Usually, war.
What?
The other half of the world is falling into it slowly. I'd rather not be there when it happens.
So this seems very out of our capabilities, if I'm being honest. Don't really know what we're supposed to do about it, and I look at Tink.
I mean, we go through here as we are meant to go through the year. We don't.
We can't even handle ourselves against one of these guys. How are we supposed to help them? This is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of value in just figuring out and picking apart the mechanics of what's happening, right?
Yeah.
It would certainly be a start. It's beyond me, that's for sure.
Keep an eye on things, offer it a new perspective.
And I will forever be the defeatist and say the stones might not let you do otherwise.
Great and all, but if you guys are planning on stopping it, like I don't really know what you're supposed to do. If wars bring you back to Karnak every time, and there's something capable of making sure you're always at the same place, it doesn't seem like it seems divine. It doesn't seem like something we can have any control over.
Then what's the point of the loop? Like, is the loop caused by something different than what's causing the end of the world? I mean, it must be. It must be something that thinks that there's a different path to follow. Otherwise, why trap us?
Tink just nods. There has to be some kind of motivation. Things like this don't just happen. This isn't a naturally occurring event. And if it was, why wouldn't everyone remember? It's like whoever made these stones has something to do with the loop. We know that. There's a through line. We just don't know who or what made stones and why they care.
Can I do a history check to see if I remember reading about the creation of the stones in the journal?
Yeah, go for it.
That's a 24.
Finally.
You've remembered the journal. Remembering the stones and the creation of them is quite easy. Yes, you do remember everything that you read in that journal.
I think that journal, the journal I gave you, Zinnia, think that if not has answers, will have clues. It talks about the creation of the stones, and yeah. And Monty's just very self-conscious about the whole thing.
What made you two trust each other?
Zinnia and Balthazar just kind of look at each other from across the table. And again, Balthazar makes that face where his nose just wrinkles like a very perturbed child. And Zinnia just kind of laughs a little. I'm his great niece.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's so sweet,
Huh.
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it sounds complicated.
Balthazar just kind of shrugs and goes, it's really not complicated. It's slightly humiliating.
Well, now I gotta hear this. If this is humiliating to you, I really want to know.
Yeah, we didn't really think it was humiliating until you said it yourself, so maybe it's
I
your own
just thought it was
projection.
perfectly
Yeah.
normal. Like, I mean, people have great nieces, and
I think it's kind of weird that
Who
you're
has
self-conscious
siblings?
about that, if anything.
Yeah. Is this weird because of something with your sibling that would have had to be the ancestor too?
Well, I mean, that means you've had, like and I look at, Monty,
Wait, how does that work?
you got, like, a partner or, maybe,
I mean,
a really
you-
one-night stand or something like that?
it's a niece. He doesn't necessarily need to have,
Yeah.
like, he
That's
needs a
true. Oh,
sibling,
niece,
or
Is it a
right.
or if he
sibling
had
or
a partner.
is
Also,
it
Balthazar
why are
just
you looking
buries
at
his
me
head
like
in
I
his
know
hands.
this?
Balthazar
No,
just
it's
has his head in his hands and is just trying his level best to ignore you all.
Come on,
Tink's
come
just
on.
making more notes. Like, see, this is why you gotta just like when you should talk, you stop talking. And when you shouldn't keep talking. Like that's all Balthazar can hear. Like next to him as Tink's like just writing more shit down.
And Balthazar just starts to nod and he's like, I know, I'm aware of it. It's constantly been a personal failing.
Why did you ask me about how? Didn't you ever learn how like children happen? Jesus,
Well,
man.
no, we don't need to get into this right now.
I'm concerned about you.
Is this the Monty and Xanth sidebar where Monty's trying
Yeah.
to teach Xanth about the birds and the bees?
This is not relevant.
I'm kind of concerned though.
Okay.
It's not relevant, but like really I'm concerned.
You can stay concerned, then Monty Tremont.
All right. All right.
At which point,
Tremont, not
Garrett
Tremont.
laughs. And it's just like, Trainmont. Trentmont. Tremendous. And that's Garrett from sitting on his chair, just making up new names for Monty.
Hmm.
I remember those nicknames.
Oh, all right. Is there anything else that we should know?
I think we're all on the same page right now. My notes are your notes, and he just puts his notebook upon the table, Balthazar does. You can feel free to read through them, and any of the knowledge that I currently possess is at your disposal. I
Yuli's
will
already grabbed
say,
it.
if things go as they have for the past few cycles, my memories will probably be wiped some point within the next few weeks.
So do you need I feel like you need a bodyguard or something.
Yeah, we should have someone assigned to you, maybe just at all times.
If someone can get past me to cause this curse, I genuinely worry about what they would do to you.
But you need someone who can record stuff for you, because it seems like at a certain point somebody doesn't want you to get new information to bring back with you.
Is this why you made the familiar? Or it's not familiar, is it? It's a
The
homunculus.
point stands.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Archimedes? My owl?
Sure.
Oh, no, he's not mine.
What?
Okay. Whose is he?
My friend's.
Which friend?
Someone
You
I
said
left halfway across the world.
okay, you said all of your knowledge was at our disposal, so I don't really see why
All
we
of my
should.
knowledge about the timeline, my personal life, Xanth, is still not up for grabs.
Why the fuck not?
I mean, it may help us
Yeah.
figure out who's stealing your who's wiping your memory and
Has
like
it occurred to you that I, as a professor, am very uncomfortable with students knowing what goes on in my personal life?
I'm
No.
not your student.
Are we like simply just, students anymore though, sir? Push up glasses.
Yeah, sir.
So, uh,
Balthazar very nearly laughs at Xanth calling him sir.
like I mean, there are options, right? That still work within the defined boundaries of a student and a professor. Somebody, I don't know, even Tink maybe could be like a teacher's aide. But on the face of it or on the back end of it, I guess, they are
Monty's just chuckling with back end.
transcribing stuff.
I mean, I'm there all the time anyway, and I imagine I have a lot to talk about.
So if Tink
Here.
writes down anything that you would have normally written down, then Tink has it, right?
Yeah, somebody needs to be there, because clearly this isn't working when it's just you trying to remember shit.
Yeah.
It's what do you smart sciencey people call it when you have extras? And Monty just sort of like looks like taps his hand his fingers against his head as a backup.
I don't know if that's really a science smart
Oh,
people thing.
whatever.
What?
I died 24 hours ago. I don't know what words
Oh
are.
my.
I am not letting anyone forget that I died 24 hours ago until it is tomorrow, at which point it'll what be 48 hours? I don't know.
You barely
But
even remembered yourself. Okay, so
Wait,
like,
so
because
you
I
can
was
bully
dead.
this, you can bully this man, but you can't have somebody just slightly be a little pedantic to you.
yeah,
No.
Is that what
She has a
happened?
point.
he's been like this for a while.
Hey, you are not any better. You're actually the worst. You're cute. You're
I-
mean.
That's irrelevant.
It is
I
not
have-
irrelevant.
Okay.
Not
We're getting
irrelevant.
I have
we're getting off track.
And a
Guys.
very
Shut
loud
up.
whistle, a very loud whistle comes from Zinnia at the head of the table. It's so shrill and sharp. And she just pats her hand against the table and goes, bickering amongst ourselves definitely isn't going to get us anywhere, regardless of what we do. A plan of action should be put into place, but for now, it is incredibly late. I do believe that we should all try and get some sleep. We're safe here for now.
He we're gonna sleep here.
Yeah, getting across the school. Tig just has this like sinking feeling about like the school at night. Like, listen, like I know I've said it before, but like this school's haunted. Like, it's already been a bad night. Let's just stay here.
Monty like instinctively like just walks up the stairs to the like room with the double bed in it.
Zinnia, there's a important thing we should probably know. What destroys the world every time?
I wish we knew.
What do you see when you die?
A bright light that just seems to tear everything apart. The world disintegrates at its touch.
Cool.
Did we
Um,
see the same thing as like we were in that weird house spaceship?
Apple?
What did we see? No, like the weird house spaceship in Babel. We got in a flying
When
house.
when you were in Babel and you were in the black glass house that was indeed flying,
Mhm.
yes, everything went white and the world disintegrated around you.
Tink makes more noise.
Did you say that out loud?
what?
About anything with Babel?
Mm-hmm.
For once, I don't think so. this this boy has let so much like fucking bullshit slip, but I don't think he says that.
Okay.
He just like makes a note that it was the same thing that we saw.
Balthazar kind of gets up from the table and dusts himself down a little. And it's just no one can get into this house without explicit invitation. We should be safe for now.
Before I go to sleep, run something.
That depends. Is it illegal?
No.
Well, now I'm slightly less interested. But he sits back down at the table and leans forward.
What a good teacher.
The only
And that, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are going to take a break.
Okay.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh.
Everybody at home, thank you for joining us for the first half. I suggest that you get up, you give yourselves a bit of a stretch, go get some water, some snacks, hydrate before you dehydrate, and we will be back in about 10-15 minutes while we go and do the same.
Okay, goodbye.
See you in a bit, guys.
Hi, guys.
And hello, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back to Hellions of Carnocht. This is the second part. If you would like to catch up on the first part, it is available if you go to our little VOD screen. You'll be able to find it there. But you are also welcome to just join us as it is. Last half, we sat down in the little house on the cliff on the beach side and had a talk about what the fuck is going on. The Hellions had a conversation with Balthazar and a surprise guest, Zinnia, who only a few of the Hellions know, but has turned out to be Balthazar's great niece, in which it was revealed that they are part of a time loop that is happening, and that Zinnia and Balthazar have lived through this time loop at least 30 odd times. This is, however, the Hellions first, and that the time loop ends when the city of Carnocht is destroyed, and everyone in it killed. At the end of this discussion, it was advised that the Hellions get some sleep. So, essentially, you can mark this down as a long rest. You get back all of your HP and all of your spells. To do with your downtime.
What about me?
Yeah, I know. I know. You wanted to make something, didn't you? Some sending stones.
Yes.
And you'd asked for Balthazar's help on doing that, hadn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
To make a functioning set of what we have affectionately called in the past Rocky Talkies.
Yes, Rocky Top.
Oh yeah.
For the group.
Adorable.
That is from Twitter. That is
Amazing.
not my joke, but it is 100% what group sending stones need to be called. End.
Also, group chalk is a favorite. But yes, roll me an intelligence check.
God damn it. I'm getting help. Can I roll it again?
Yeah. I was gonna have Balthazar roll his own intelligence check, but sure, you can have advantage.
It was an 8. I need the advantage. Fuck! I rolled 2 4s. It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. An 8.
You manage to make some headway on the stones. Like, you get the rough shape of them down and the design. And then you and Balthazar start, like, talking slash debating slash arguing over the merits of certain shapes of stones and the longevity of the magic attached to them, that you don't really get much further than that tonight. You instead devolve into like a 3-hour discussion about the properties of weave being attached to earth stones and like what shape they should take and how to channel the weave and do that in the most efficient way.
Okay.
Energy versus output. And whether or not there is any way that you can expand how the sending stones work. Spoilers, there's not.
Okay. Do we call it a night at some point then, I would assume?
Yeah.
Okay. When we do,
Mhm.
as like Tink excuses himself, I think he's just gonna like look at Balthazar before he gets like what little sleep he and apologize this time. I'm sorry. I said earlier it's just been a lot.
Just so that we're clear, which precise thing are you apologizing for? Because there's a few.
Okay, I mean, first of all, today there was not a few. Don't like give me that. I'm sorry I said you were a dragon though.
I accept your apology so long as it's never said again. It's not particularly a question I like to face very often. It's quite clear that I am not a dragon.
Are you sure? Are you
That's
sure?
right,
Are
yeah.
you sure that? Okay. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Dropped. Subject dropped. But
Are you sure it's dropped? Because that
Heart
didn't
fell
sound
apart
like
so
it was
fast.
dropped. That sounded pretty that sounded pretty like it's gonna creep up on us during some other conversation and then we're just gonna argue about it, and I'm really not here for that. I'd rather that we just be upfront.
well, it's just like he's like flipping through notes, like pointing at things that do not make any sense to any sane human being, and he's like, just like we all know something's going on here, and it's just like you're like the only one we can trust right now, and I really appreciate that. But when we don't know, you know. It just makes there's questions, and then there wouldn't have to be questions if you didn't, you know.
Are we gonna keep bringing this up unless I sit down and describe to you in detail the facets of my life that relate to these things?
It doesn't need to be in detail. It's just, you sit here being, oh, I'm a half elf and a perfectly average man, and like we know that that's not correct. So then you are
Personally, that's correct.
no, it's you're the only one we can trust, and it feels like you're lying to us, and that's why it's such a sticking point. That's we don't need to talk about it, but that's where it's coming from. It's not. that we don't trust you. It would feel better to know. That's all.
I don't like to talk about it.
Okay.
I understand that you need something for trust, but genuinely, as things stand, I am a half-elf.
Okay.
Right now, as I am before you, I'm a half-elf. And that's how it's gonna stay. Can I do some things that are maybe a little bit suspect? Yes. I will give you that.
I'm gonna go. Thank you. And he's gonna try and give Balthazar a hug.
Give me 2 seconds, I have to roll.
How vulnerable is Balthazar feeling right now?
Roll for
Exactly.
vulnerability.
How much does he need this hug?
He kind of just, like, very gingerly just hugs Tink back, and then Tink, you are
Oh,
100% in a hug that you cannot escape.
Oh,
Oh.
he
I
really
think.
needed the hug, dude.
Yeah, I think Tink is like completely in the same place. Like it's just silent. It's just silent. They will not address this. It's just like
I rolled for composure and I rolled a 1.
yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, no, you just hold on for dear life. You will never talk about this again.
No,
But
we're never bringing this
yeah.
up. We're never.
Auntie gets up in the middle of the night to get
No.
a glass of water,
No.
looks down the
Nope.
stairs, sees what's happening, and just turns around and goes back to bed.
No. When Tink finally leaves, he like makes like a gesture like he's about to say something, and the something is gonna be like we don't have to talk about that, but like his face kind of says it all as he just like, all right, yeah.
Balthazar sort of just rocks back on his heels and nods and it's like, yeah.
Just awkward friends.
Yeah. What are the rest of you doing?
Sleeping.
Sleeping, I hope.
Sleeping? You're all sleeping?
Yenna is probably not sleeping just yet. If possible, she would have been like. She probably doesn't have any paper on her, but is maybe borrowed some from Yuli. And is working out like starting on theories. She's now going like, okay, well, I guess I'm derailing a little bit from my studies to go look at a different subject, just a little bit. She's starting to like look at what she knows about Carnegie and like the little bit that she's done with like the haste spell and things like that, and going like, okay, how much power are we talking here for this scale of bullshit? Oh. And if she
Okay.
notices Tink leaving, then we'll also probably have a word with Balthazar after. She won't interrupt that.
Roll me a quick perception check. Or actually,
Sure.
what's your background perception?
Passive is 10. She doesn't have any wisdom. She's dumb.
I'll say with a 10 because you're kind of waiting for it, you'll be able to see whether or not Tink leaves.
Okay.
So you see Tink looking incredibly awkward and leaving the dining room.
We won't read into this at all.
Sure, nothing happened in there.
I'm sure nothing
Yeah.
happened in there.
I think she will, from like past history and like now regaining memories, will be like a little bit more like, that's normal. They're weird. They have a relationship. She's not involved in that relationship. It's whatever.
just don't have good social skills.
The only thing that is there for her is probably like, why does he like take better? Oh yeah, artificer. Okay, that's fine, I guess.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, like she
It's
basically
literally
is
the
just
only reason.
she probably has like the tiniest grain of like rivalry vibes of like I want to be teacher's pet though.
It doesn't
Um,
even know.
yeah, probably not. It's like completely oblivious. Um, but Yenna will kind of approach him and is just like, "Hi."
He clears his throat with a little hello.
She rolls her eyes at him and it's like, "I have one question.
Hmm.
And I don't really care what the fuck you are, but
Hmm.
why didn't you, when you remembered in these previous loops, why didn't you loop me in sooner if you could have?"
Do you want the honest answer or the answer that you want to hear?
Her like eye twitches. She's like, I feel like I feel like if we get lied to anymore, I'm going to fucking explode. And that's unfortunately, like you, a little bit literal.
Then the honest
Apparently.
answer is I didn't want to be involving innocent people that could get hurt. You all didn't seem affected by the loops previously. There was no reason to upend your entire lives on a theory that Zinnia and I hoped we could come to an answer to on our own.
Um you're going to see a little bit of like lip tremble. And she's like tearing up and she's like, I'm literally a genius. This is literally what I'm supposed to be working on.
You did, and every single time I've changed the parameters of our relationship to try and see if we could touch at a different area of chronoturgy so that I could figure some things out. You've helped in your own way through all of this.
She's just gonna like frown at him and be like, mm, don't I don't know if I believe you. And she just sort of like runs out. And she's very upset. She's pouting.
Not it's like you don't see this, but he definitely just throws his hands up as though he can get nothing done right. This man has an existential crisis in the room. Um, are you going to bed then with everybody else?
Um has Yuli gone to bed? I guess that's the real question.
I think Yuli's probably asleep. She probably was trying to like write stuff down or look through her old notes and fell asleep with her notebook still open, kind of like leaning up against the wall or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, if Yuli's asleep, she'll go to sleep.
Okay. So all of you spend a night at the cabin by the sea. And it's a restful night. It's definitely a long rest. You can mark it off. Your HP is renewed. Um, all of your spell slots are restored. And the morning comes to very different weather. Sunlight streaming through the stained glass windows of the house, and the cawing of gulls out in the distance. It is a balmy, late summer afternoon. Afternoon? Morning. I have no concept of time.
I mean,
What
same.
are days?
What are days? What is time? Who knows? Not me. And the sun is rising over the water. And you wake to the sounds of somebody in the kitchen clattering about with pots and pans. And the slightly more distant sounds of magic. Soft explosions, the crackle of lightning that seem to be coming from outside.
I'm gonna head down into the kitchen and see if I can help out.
Okay, you find Zinnia at the stove, making do with the food that she bought because everything in that house is definitely too dusty and too old to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
the moment that you go into the kitchen, she's like, "Good morning, dear," and she passes you a plate, and she's like, "Just fill it as you like. Don't worry about helping. Just fill up. You're practically skin and bones again." And she pinches your arm and just gives it a little wiggle.
I'm a very skinny boy. And thank you. Um, and he fills up the plate with like oatmeal and stuff. So yeah, and some fruit. Are you sure you don't want any help?
You
I
can fill up another
miss.
plate and take it up to the others, but no, dear, it's all right. We can discuss where you'll stay after. And she gives you a
Okay,
little wink.
thank you. Monty's just feeling like looks very like confused, but also like yeah. But he fills up another plate to bring it upstairs. So I'm presuming is Xanthan does Xanth sleep in the same room as he did?
I mean, I'm assuming like they're always roommates, so
Yeah.
probably.
He heads up with another with a big old plate of food that probably also has like eggs and bacon and stuff on it for Xanth, because Xanth's not a vegetarian, is he?
Oh. He will literally eat any garbage thrown at him. So
Okay.
Ah, a teenage boy.
yes.
Mhm.
Did you bring this for, for you or for me?
I mean the eggs and bacon and stuff is for you. I don't eat any of that.
What?
I'm a vegetarian.
What does that mean?
That means I just eat like fruit and vegetables and some animal byproducts. And occasionally I'll
What?
eat fish, but I don't eat meat.
Oh, okay. He starts eating his food.
I mean, it doesn't bother me that you eat it. Like it's just not what I eat. Um,
Uh,
and
okay.
Munch just sits there with his oatmeal and fruit. It was just sort of like eating his food.
Monty, um, when you talked last night about like you dying,
Hmm.
how much do you remember of that specific thing?
I just remember cold and pain and dark and your voice.
My voice.
Yeah,
What
you're
what did what did I say?
you're calling for me, but I couldn't answer. Did
What?
did you try to did you try to find me?
Of course I fucking tried to find you. What do you mean?
I just trying to figure out why it was your voice that I heard, and I'm sorry. And Monty's just like quietly like crying into his oatmeal. Real
Why?
pathetic boy.
um, Sansa's gonna like really awkwardly walk over and put like a hand on Motu's shoulder and hit his back probably a little too hard.
Chokes on oatmeal.
Don't eat while you're crying.
Don't hit me while I'm crying.
I'm not hitting you. I'm comforting you.
We need to work on how you comfort people. Like, hugs are good.
Too much body. You-
That's fine.
like
Hand on
cut.
shoulder is good.
We're not. You're not gonna die again, and Tink's not gonna die again. Okay.
Yeah,
Unless the world ends, but then I guess we all die. But
and we
just
get to start this all over again.
it's not the worst thing.
No, you're right. It's not. It's scary, and I still feel like there's things I can't remember.
I don't know if it was because you died, but you seem to remember a lot less than everyone else. I don't. I
That's
don't know. You
where
didn't
did you?
even what?
No, you finish.
You didn't remember me, or Tink, or Belial, and we all remembered each other. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just you or if it's you dying, but we should probably avoid people dying when we try to stop this from happening again. Because it's just gonna make everything generally a good idea.
It's generally a good idea not to die.
Yeah.
Generally.
What were you what were you gonna say
Where did you all go?
when you died?
Yeah.
I Tink and I went in that dark room and then I lost Tink and I crawled through a hole, and then when I came out of the hole there were like flying pillars. Um and I don't really think we saw you there. I don't know where you were. I still don't know where Santana is. So it's just
Fuck. I hope they
but
got out.
yeah, me too.
I mean, world
I
ended.
feel like
Mm,
it's true. I feel like if out of any of us, they would have probably been, you know, the best one to be put in that situation.
right.
So let's go see if the others are up. I think I don't want to
Yeah.
leave Balthazar alone
Montu
for too long.
stands up and like wipes off his wipes his eyes and uh tries to hide the fact that he's been crying, but he's very pale and his eyes are very red. But he has his oatmeal and just sort of like continues to eat the oatmeal while going to see if everyone else is awake yet.
I think Yuli is probably doing kind of absent-minded, obnoxious things with her conjuration. Like she conjures like a little eyeglasses wipe and wipes her glasses, and then conjures a toothbrush and brushes her teeth. Like
So cute.
just sleepily, just like trying to go through her normal routine so she feels a little bit less weird.
I feel like Tink probably just like slept on the couch or something, meditating
Again,
on the couch again. That's his bed. That's where he sleeps
we
here.
have beds. You can sleep in a bed.
They're still dusty.
Yana, you wanted to speak to Yuli last night, didn't you?
Yeah, if she can get like a private moment with Yuli, or at least sort of like they can have like a whisper conversation sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think Yuli would have sought you out pretty early on in the morning.
Yeah, I feel like right now, Yena's like, she's not as fucked up as like yelling like everyone else, but is kind of fucked up by the whole experience, and it's just
Sure.
like, uh, this is right and true. So we will deal with this. This is not as fucking convoluted. And it's just gonna be like, so your thing with the writing and the problems.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She'll pull out her notebook and she'll open it. Actually, hold on. Sorry, I'm gonna message Jess really fast.
Okay. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Yeah, message me.
It's such a good evil laugh.
I know
Like,
it's
Boom,
terrible.
boom, boom, boom.
terrifying.
She's she opens up her book and like it's everything's dated, right? Everything like we were saying earlier, everything is like pretty immaculate notes. So she'll open up her notebook to a specific day and show it to you and like point at the paper.
Okay. So last night, Balthazar said that he couldn't talk about it because he was cursed, right?
Yes.
And you can't talk about whatever this is. It seems like it hurts you.
Ye- and she looks like she's in pain, but just kind of like stands.
Oh. And he's like, okay, don't try too hard. But
Yeah.
do
She'll
you
tap
think
she'll tap the page again.
do you think it's a curse?
Mm,
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Uh, I I think we should talk to Tink. Tink knows things about healing magic, or he used to. I don't know, but maybe he knows more. Like maybe he
y-
understands this kind of stuff a little bit.
yeah. Yes. She'll like take Yenna's hand and just like
Oh
start
dear.
walking looking for Tink.
We're like, oh, okay,
Like she's
we're
suddenly
going now.
inspired, like, wait, that's a great idea.
Again, it's just like being dragged along. And like, I bet later, but this is fine too.
Tink's like just absently like eating food as he walks. He's like gonna go see what like Balthazar was doing. Like he's like
Yuli
absently
will
eating food on the way to
intercept.
the board.
Yeah, if you're like starting to walk somewhere, Yuli will step right in front of you like a tiny roadblock and hold up her
He like
notebook and
almost
do
trips.
the exact same thing out of context to you. She did to Yenna and just hold up the page and point to the day.
Okay. He like blinks like this is the first thing anyone has gestured to him since he woke up because it is. All right, what am I looking at? What's up?
So look at Yenna.
Okay. So Yuli takes beautiful notes, like your bullshit, and she is having trouble writing down something, and I think it's sort of similar to the thing going on with Balthazar, where he can't talk about his bullshit. So I think
She'll
he
she'll turn she'll turn a few pages, only a couple. She'll turn a couple pages over and you'll see like the weird page that has like the beginnings of lots of words and like
Ting,
Yeah.
I would like you to roll me a perception check.
As a 21.
bless.
As Yuli is turning the page, you note the date. Not the one that's been turned to, but the one that's been turned away from.
Mm-hmm.
And something pings in your memory about that date.
Mm.
Roll me a history check.
It's a 22.
You come to the startling, sudden remembrance that this whole memory thing that went on with Balthazar, you as a group, you, Monty, Xanth, have also experienced a gap in your memory. There was a day where you never experienced that night. where as a group, none of you remembered what happened that night.
Yeah.
And the date of when that happened and the date that's on the page that Yulia is pointing to are the same.
He immediately takes the notebook. And I think also, like, takes out his own and would, like, flip to basically that date as well.
Are you like getting on the floor with it like a gremlin?
Absolutely, yes.
Great. I am also on the floor like a gremlin with you.
The plate of food is, like, next to him, and he's still, like, taking, like, pieces of, like, bacon and putting them in his mouth. It's like, okay. There was a knock on the door, and then we woke up. We didn't remember anything. This the same day.
Mm-mm.
What?
You can't talk about it. It's... He, like, slides the book over to Yuli to see what she was gonna do next.
She'll flip again back to the page with like the beginnings of words on it. And she'll point to the page and she'll point to her mouth.
Okay. This is what you can't say.
Mm.
Can he just, like, run through words? Like, what's written?
Feel free to describe what's written on the page, Yuli.
Okay.
Have we lost?
Dukes?
Oh yeah, I'm typing to her. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, alright, actually, with what I've just been told, I will describe the page.
Okay.
What you see is a series of sentences, or rather, like, disjointed beginnings of words that haven't got very far at all.
Okay.
Some, like, some just look like a jumble of letters. There's an S over here, there's an A over there. Another of the words that's supposedly written has got as far as AB. Another word is RA. Like, it all seems pretty disjointed. Roll
If
me an intelligence check.
I was gonna say, he would try and look for some kind of pattern. Let's see. Figure out what. Haha, dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, I am going to whisper to you all of the letters that are on this page.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay?
Dude, you just won D&D. Like,
Winning D&D. Show me the letters.
Amazing.
And is this like a perceived order that I would put to them as well, or are they still scattered?
They are still scattered,
Okay.
so you've got to work the rest out on your own.
I'm like waiting with bated breath. Never
I didn't
has
expect this to turn into a one-person puzzle, but I'm excited for you.
If this works because I get more and more if it does.
Mm. Like, you can't have me look at this and not have Tink just look at Yuli and be like, Praxis?
She like looks extremely ill as she's trying to say yes.
Yeah, you do.
Yep.
Take 3
Do I-
points of damage.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
only 3 points because you didn't get all the way through the word, but we've done that a couple of times now, so.
Yeah. I was wondering how often you were gonna let me just go.
Yeah.
To be fair, you wouldn't be able to say yes or no. We've just been assuming all the are yeses.
Imagine if they were all no's. I was
Yeah.
like, well, okay, I guess I need to really work on those noises.
Something is better than nothing, I guess. Okay. Tink's just gonna give like a really exasperated noise. And yeah, I mean, okay, like don't say anything. It makes sense. It's when we saw him, you were not a fan. I understand. We can if we're talking to him, passed out, and does he remember Ilya yet? Like how
You saw
Ilya.
Ilya.
No, but like the course of Ilya's life
Yeah.
that he watched
Um,
Ilya die. Does he remember this then?
I'm going to say yes, you do
Okay.
remember Ilya's death. You
Okay.
remember being in exactly this house and
Mhm.
watching as Ilya was sat there, as you questioned this man, and before he could say anything, he was dead, as though he choked to death.
Tink's gonna like gesture for Yuli to come with him and go out to where he figures like Balthazar is. The food is left
Okay.
on the floor.
Yuli will once again grab Yenna's hand and drag Yenna with her. like you're a security person for her.
Yeah. Yenna is also like deeply concerned because it's like can tell that it's like painful for you to be doing this process, and it's just like okay. Also, I wanted to know if I could do a history check to see if like that date would mean anything to Yenna because I know she wasn't like with the other party, so I don't know where she would have been at this point in time.
Go ahead and roll.
That's a 22.
You don't particularly remember anything important about this date,
Okay.
although you do remember seeing a very tall blonde man that you now are like, oh damn, that was Abraxas, leaving the dormitory halls while you were
Okay.
daydreaming out of the wizarding windows.
Hmm.
And by
Yeah.
daydreaming, I mean thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking very
deeply.
important scholarly thoughts.
Yes.
Thinking quantum
Yeah.
things.
Just quantum things.
You
Just
know,
quantum things.
Quantum things.
Oh God, Yenna's gonna hate Brexus so much at this point.
Mhm,
God,
mhm, mhm.
hates him so much.
Yeah. Okay, so if we go out to where Balthazar is sketchily doing magic, what do we find?
Did you just say sketchily doing magic?
Yes. Why is he doing magic first thing in the morning? Who is this man?
You can actually see that he is building devices.
Oh. Okay.
Sketchy devices.
Sketchy devices. My favorite.
So he's hunched over, he's building like little bronze devices that they look quite spherical, as most of Balthazar's spells do. And he's got a stick laid out on the ground next to him, and he just looks up as you guys walk out towards him.
Mhm.
Puzzled.
What are you making? I assume it's important. Is it important?
Just some self-defense things.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. And Tink's just gonna sit down and be like, this thing I have to say is more important than that, implicitly.
Is this conversation going to go anything like the others have gone in the past
No.
few hours? Because-
No, it not at
Okay.
all. No, it's gonna be. It's not great. It's not fine. It's gonna be something though. He takes out his notebook. I mean, I know this is probably like a moot point at this point. Where's your book? Do you know what happened on this night before in the last cycle?
He reaches into one of his many belt pockets and pulls out his notebook and flips to the date that you have scrawled down there.
Mhm.
And he hands it over for you to read.
And what does it say?
It is a collection of notes, most of which are on classes. And you can see that it's almost like notes written upon notes. So there are like, well, last time this happened, this time this is happening. And most of it is just this person fell asleep during class. This experiment didn't work out okay. Until it gets to the evening where it's like there's a series of sentences that are started but not finished.
Okay. Okay, Yuli, yours.
Mine.
Your book.
Yeah.
Your notes.
Yeah. She'll open them.
Yuli has something she can't talk about. Something happened on this night. None of us remember that night. And I think that it all has to do with Abraxas.
Balthazar kind of leans forward, looking over the three notebooks, and it's just like he points towards his own. I have no recollection of what happened at the end of that night. And the day after, he flips the page, and it records in detail you visiting Balthazar and him not having any recollection of the magical doorways that he had shown you how to use.
Was that the night? Wait. Was that the night that Tink stormed into his room first thing in the morning and accused him of lying because he did know what the stones were because he remembered about the stone from 10 years ago?
Yes.
Tink's like, oh yeah, that does make sense, yeah. Well, shit. Like that's something. That's something.
Wait. What? What is Abraxas? Who is Abraxas? Like he was in the dorms that day, and like, did he do this to Yuli? Is he dangerous?
I would assume that Abraxas is dangerous at this point, and he no longer seems to be amused by us. But he was
I mean,
fine. Or
was he? Are you sure? Because I watched that guy walk up to you guys and like fucking make you think you were like, fans.
that is also a thing that he had done before, but not in a
It was
malicious
fine?
way. Not like
What?
in a everyone was freaking out and maybe we just needed to calm down kind of way. What didn't seem as bad before.
Calming somebody down and making them think that like you're the greatest is like a very different thing in my opinion.
Tink looks over at Balthazar.
Balthazar is just frowning. Roll me an insight.
My insight is not very good. It's a 15.
He definitely looks like there's a muscle in his jaw twitching, but it's like he's grinding his teeth on something that he wants to say.
Okay, is this a you don't want to talk about it or you can't fuck about it.
He just gives you a very flat look.
Well, listen, other times it's been a you just don't wanna, so.
He just kind of throws his hands up and motions towards Yuli.
No, okay, I get it. So.
Yuli also gives a very flat look back.
Okay, so he's done the same thing to both of you. You've said we can't trust him. It's under the school. Dragon his horse.
He lives under the school?
Yeah, he's got there's like a big dragon horde down there. It's it was a weird time finding that one. Some doors are not meant to be open, turns out. But it turned out fine. It turned out fine. If he'd wanted to kill me, he could have killed me then. Like not that should be
Roll
the
me a
marker
perception.
of whether or not someone is trustworthy or not. My boy is rolling fucking gangbusters. That is that's a 22.
You hear footsteps behind you coming up the rock steps.
Oh, okay. So you fucking decided to show up. He turns around.
Well, when a door is left open, it does feel rather like an invite, says Abraxas. And that is where we are leaving tonight.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yep, that's the
Motherfucker.
end. Thank you all for joining us. It has been one heck of a session. I hope that you have enjoyed yourselves. We have certainly enjoyed playing. And we shall be back next week with more Hellions. If you have enjoyed what you have watched tonight, please feel free to check out our Discord where we post fan art, theories, talk to each other. There's a lot of really cool stuff on there. It's absolutely great. And if you would like to support us in any way, we also have a Patreon that you can check out if you would like to, where we have extra content. We have written posts of extended lore. We have a spicy section that is mostly at this point Ned and Nick, but will be contributed to by most of the artists in the group. And we have homebrew content on there as well. And that being said, I would like to give a big happy thank you to our current patrons who have supported us all along. We couldn't do this without you. You've been absolutely fantastic. And a lot of the stuff that we're doing through Hellions has been because of your support. So thank you so much. We will see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. See you there. Bye.
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 Just keep rolling, boy.